If you've been with your so for 5+ years, how often do you have? Story 1. We're in our mid-50s and we've been married for 23 years. We average probably weekly. It's very romantic too. It starts with someone screaming, "I require servicing," throughout the house. Story 2. With each other? Monthly. Her with other people? Weekly. Edit. I wasn't aware until yesterday. Story 3. We've had definite dry spells over the decades, but about 3 times a week now. Story 4. 23+ years, and as often as we can when schedules and desires line up. 2 to 3 times a month. Story 5. Been with my wife for 25 years. We still do it 4 to 5 times per week. I'm lucky, I guess. Story 6. It's all about keeping it fresh. Every relationship is different. Sometimes it's boring 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes it's 1 to 3 times a month. It's all about the healthiness of the relationship. I noticed my personal relationship with my spouse. When we struggle, our relationship struggles as well, but when this are good, we are more active with each other. Remember, things change with time as well as with age. Mostly time though. It's about bonding, not contact. Story 7. We've been together for 8 years, and it's infrequent. We might have dry spells of a few weeks sometimes, and then we might have times where it's every day for a few weeks. In some weird way, our are sensed. During the dry spells, neither feels like it, but each time it breaks, it is absolutely wonderful. It just feels so passionate and loving it's hard to describe. I just get a warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Story 8. 15 years, it ebbs and flows. I'd say we have some sort of twice a week, and full-on intercourse less because it takes more time and preparation. And quite frankly, I think when you're with someone for a long time, you're less hung up or getting the PIV goal all the time. It's special and all, but there are a lot of ways to get your rocks off and have fun. Sometimes it's nothing for a week or 2, but if we're on vacation or just in a zone, it's every day for a while. Honestly, the biggest influence is our sleeping schedules and stress. When we have relatively little stress, and we are going to bed and getting up at the same time, it's all the time. So it's really more of a practical issue than waning passion or overfamiliarity. Edit. I feel like I should add we are in our late 40s. Story 9. Togathet for about 25 years. Average once every 2-3 years, not by my choice. Story 10. Been with my wife for about 19 years now. Before we had a kid, it was a minimum of 3 times per week, sometimes multiple times per day. After we had a kid, it went way down because she was busy child rearing during the day while I was at work and would be exhausted. But now he's much older. I'd say we do it about 2 to 3 times a month. But my wife generally has a much lower than I do anyway, and she's susceptible to her going into the toilet any time she's stressed out, which with her work is often, unfortunately. Her job or any household stress has cock-blocked me more times than I can count. Story 11. Once or twice a week, I also take care of myself when I need to, daily at least, instead of getting frustrated. Being open and just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go," and not worry about being walked in on or trying to hide it has been solid for us. There was a period where I felt like I couldn't do that and had to rely on her for everything, which just frankly was not possible. We worked it out and I am extremely happy and satisfied in this apartment. Story 12. Coming up on 19 years, the number doesn't matter. Whether you're both happy with the number is what matters. Each season of life has been different. We both try to make sure that the other one isn't feeling deprived, all things considered. Weird schedules, illnesses, and injuries are all things to be considered. Story 13. Married 20 years. When the kids are around, 4 or so times a month. When the kids are at sleepaway camp or at the grandparents, like twice a day. Story 14. Oh man, we talk about having 2 to 3 times a week, but she usually falls asleep shortly after we put the kids to bed, and so then I go downstairs and rub one out by myself. So it's actually pretty rare, but luckily I am quite good at thanks to decades of practice. Friends, before we continue our video, I want to remind you of the importance of subscribing to our channel. We are also waiting for your comments and likes. Thank you, let's move on to the video. Story 15. Been with my husband for almost 8 years, about 3 to 5 times a month. He has a broken L4 and L5, and he's got chronic pain. Some days are better than others, and some months he even goes beyond our usual if he's really feeling good. I'm just grateful that I get to spend the time that I have with him. Story 16. Rarely. Came up in conversation once. Isn't good enough to want it more. I'm the only one she's been with, so I stopped asking for it. She asked me why I don't initiate anymore, explained why. She told me not to take it personally, that I misinterpreted it. Told her if she wants to come to me, says she feels weird initiating, together over 20 years. There is definitely no cheating going on, 100% positive. Story 17. Using throwaway because my wife knows my account. 22 years. Once a month if that. She acts like she's being generous. We had sex twice last month, and I think she feels she doesn't have to this month. She makes me so miserable and insignificant. Leaving her will financially destroy me, so I will pretend I am happy like I am supposed to. All men are terrible after all. Story 18. My wife and I are 1 month from our 10-year dating, 2 months from our 7-year wedding anniversaries. We have sex 1 to 2 times a week. She and I both want it more, so I often go down on her randomly through the week because I have a heart condition and my meds sometimes make things difficult for me. Story 19. Together 6.75 years. Married since October 22. Haven't had since our wedding night. Before then was over 2 years. His choice, not mine. And no, he's not cheating. He has a video game addiction and death grip syndrome. But weirdly enough, I'm not necessarily bothered by it like people expect me to be. I kind of cut out my expectations of with him. So when I don't expect it, I'm not disappointed. Story 20. Been with my partner for 6 years. He has a drinking problem and hasn't gotten himself the help he needs. It's taken emotional toll on our relationship to the point where it's affected my desire. He smells like booze, doesn't regularly shower or brush his teeth, and he smokes cigarettes. The odors are always on his mustache and beard. I have tried really hard to work past it, but I am failing and I feel awful about it. I have asked him many times to please stop drinking to the point of being buzzed every day and to please practice better hygiene, but he doesn't do it. So we have 1 to 2 times a month, and he gets ick. Where to go from here? Story 21. Been married 14 years. Connecting during has always felt difficult, impossible perhaps, due to repetitive SA by her sibling when she was young. Our frequency has been declining precipitously for the last 5 years. At this point, I don't feel like she cares about my needs, and I sincerely doubt she's ever cared. It has frequently been a struggle for me for many years, and I felt like I shouldn't speak about it due to the sensitive subject. She seems to be a deeply angry and rageful person. She's definitely made the attempt, in whatever way she could, for many years, but we haven't had in almost a year now, and at this point, and I'm just done with asking for something she clearly despises anyway. Do I want to get angrily glared at like some kind of criminal while having completely consensual No thanks. She just doesn't want me, and at this point I'd be glad to find someone that actually does. Probably gonna be divorced within a year or less. This is a good note to end on. Please rate your stories in the comments. I'll be happy to add them to future videos. Also, you can rate our other videos. We would be very grateful. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.